You are probably making big mistakes when playing Roblox Rivals, which is costing you entire matches. I'm going to fix these for you today, so your skill will go from this to this. Starting with the first one, it is actually going to be your camera placement. I see noobs running around the map looking at the floor like this very commonly, and that is very stupid, because for one reason, you can't see where your enemy is, and two, if you do see your enemy, you take 10 to 12 working days to then aim at them. A simple trick to practice this is to line up your crosshair with the first line on arena walls like that, as that is the height that your enemy's head will almost always be at. Once this becomes the natural default for you, which doesn't really take that long, you will be hitting so many more headshots, and that will result in you winning so many more duels. The tips in this video are arranged to go from simple to complex, so the more tips you watch, the better you will become. Number 2 is getting the right settings. This is by far the most important thing you need to do, as the default settings are completely buns. I could and have filled entire videos talking about the best settings, but I will run through the very essential ones so you don't have to watch that. First, you want to disable shadows and disable textures so you get more frames. Make sure auto sprint and easy slide are enabled. Put your FOV up to at least 100, you can go higher. Turn off these two things here because they are just distracting. And now onto your crosshair. It should be small and brightly coloured to stand out from the rest of the map. In order to achieve this, these three numbers here should either be 255 or 0, and that will make sure that your crosshair always stands out pretty well. It's also important to have a clear and unobstructed centre of the crosshair, as that way you can line up those sweet headshots, so I like to disable the dot. Make sure to enable static crosshair, make sure to enable show while aiming, and override special crosshairs, as these will all help your aim massively. So now that you have good settings, you need to make sure you are moving right. If I ever see a player just running around like this, I know instantly that they are a noob. And that's because when you're doing this, your head stays perfectly level so people can easily line up headshots. I mean, this guy can't, but you know, that's not the point. Instead, what you want to be doing is called slide jumping. Now, if you change your settings how I said you should, you can do this by simply tapping crouch and jump in quick succession while running. This will make you move a little bit quicker, yeah, but also it makes you harder for people to track on your head, as it's all more unpredictable. You should also stop turning your back on your enemy, because then you will lose track of where they are in the map and they will pop up and randomly surprise you, just like so. There are other things that you should be doing for movement, of course, but these are the foundations on which everything else is built, so you need to master these two things first. Next, we are going to need to fix your reloading. There are just two things that you need to sort out when doing this, and the first is what I call flick reloads. When you press R, you do not need to watch the full animation, you actually get the bullets in your gun halfway through, so when you see the bar change direction, you can flick to another weapon and flick back, meaning you can then shoot again. This saves a lot of time, about 50% I'd say, but you know what's better than reloading quickly? Not reloading at all! Well, I mean, you will still need to reload, obviously, but the trick is to make sure you do it when you can. See, here I pop up, I fire a few bullets, and as soon as I know that I'm no longer in their line of fire, I reload. Even if you only fired one bullet, reload when you can, as that one bullet may be the difference between you killing your opponent and you running out and getting straight up domed. Number 5 is by far the simplest of this video. Do not use the RPG. Why do so many noobs buy RPG as their first weapon? It's unimaginably stupid. I have every single weapon in the game, and in my opinion the RPG might actually be the worst out of all of them, and I'm even including the damn smoke grenade in that. I get maybe another player has killed you with it once or twice, but that is because you are probably making these mistakes that I am outlining in the video, not because the weapon is good. Anybody with decent movement will barely ever even get damaged by a rocket, let alone killed by it, so just don't buy it. If you want to buy anything, get daggers. They give double jump, so you can't say, oh, I'll use rocket launcher for movement. And if you land both daggers to the head, that is 80 damage, which is probably more than you will ever do with the RPG. In case for some reason you need proof of this fact, this guy right here has a win rate of 38% and his favourite is the RPG. I promise it is not worth your time. Today's video is brought to you by the subscribe button. Now it's time for a quick word from a very real subscriber. G'day mates, this here is a subscriberoo, and they say that if you don't subscribe, it'll eat your kids, mate. Stop wasting your keys! They are pretty slow to get, and I commonly see people spending 5 keys to recover a 3 win streak. Let's say you did this twice a day. In a week you have wasted 70 keys, which would cost you about 500 Robux to buy. Streaks are in no way useful, and a 3 win streak is in no way impressive. So save up your keys and buy a weapon that will actually make you lose less. Now, not wasting keys also includes not buying cosmetics and all stupid things like this. You get so many free wraps and charms for free just by playing the game. You do not need to be spending keys to get more of them. If you stop wasting your keys, you can then use them to buy weapons, and that way you can stop crying and calling people pay to win when you lose. Next, you aren't watching good players on YouTube, or well, maybe you are, but you don't notice what they do that makes them good. I'm not saying you need to take notes, but if you want evidence that this is very important, here's a before and after of myself. This is me recording my very first Rivals video. See how buns I am. And then I watched every tanker video to make a video of my own. Now I'm a plat player. This is a good example. It shows you that it's important to do this, but also shows that it won't instantly make you a nemesis player. And I know what you're thinking.
Oh, but I watch you and you're really good at the game and handsome too.
But I am talking about real good players. Apollino, Philud, Tanker all demonstrate pretty much perfect gameplay every video. So as long as you take some sort of notice when watching their video, you will pick up tips and tricks along the way. Number 8 is map selection. Now, there are some people that say choosing bad maps is the mistake, but actually I disagree. There are no bad maps anymore, but you do need to choose a map that complements your playstyle and loadout. Now, assuming you have very few weapons, which is likely, Arena is probably your best pick, but Construction and Splash both work well with AR loadouts, to a degree. If you like to use Sniper, Crossroads is the best, and if you are a Flame user, vote Backrooms. But let's face it, you will be called a scumbag. You won't always get your map, so it is important to have a few weapons so you can adapt to most maps, but the point is, stop voting Arena if you're a Sniper player, and stop voting Crossroads if you're a Shotgun player, as any half-competent player with a more appropriate loadout will smoke you regardless of their skill. You are probably not using your utilities correctly. First of all, you should never be manually selecting your melee or utilities. Use the keybinds for that, but more importantly, you often probably waste them. I'm assuming most of you are still using grenade quite a lot, and that's a pretty good weapon. It's good for movement or predictions, not whatever you're doing with it. On Arena, a lot of new players wait until they can see their opponent before throwing it, but then by the time it explodes, the other person has probably moved, and you have probably just had your head blown off by a shotgun, because you were standing around like a potato with no gun out. Remember, your primary and secondary weapons will always do more damage per second than a grenade, so they should always be your first point of call when trying to deal damage. And number 10 is something only pros consider, and that is damage trades. An average person thinks, I need to kill them before they kill me, and you know, fair enough, that's alright in essence, but a pro will always be going for a push, but also an exit. With a push being an attack and an exit being running away, essentially. It's all very well and good jumping your opponent, but if they don't die very quickly, you will take a lot of damage. Now, this becomes especially important in 2v2s and above, as keeping health is very critical and just important as dealing damage. So you need to prioritise minimising damage to yourself just as much as dealing damage to the other person. That's why a lot of pros use Scythe, as they can pop up, do a little bit of damage, and then Scythe away. If you are a simple new player at the game, you don't really need to think about this too much just yet, but keep it in the back of your mind, as this will result in you winning more duels. I hope you found this video useful, and if you want to see me put these tips and more to the test, then watch this video right here as I clutch every single game mode in Roblox Rivals. Thank you very much for watching, and bon voyage, my old cream crackers.